ago in 1997, a medical doctor from Victory, Makati, heeded a daunting call to plant a church in Cavite, right at the educational hub in Dasmariñas. Doc Demi Reyes, a surgeon and businessman, seemed an unlikely candidate to pastor the new church, being relatively new in faith and not quite the typical genial pastor. He concedes that he is a little rough around the edges, forthright with his words, a rebuker rather than an encourager, and not really a savvy public speaker. But what he lacked in eloquence, he more than made up for his teachable and hospitable heart. He obeyed the call despite his fears. More than that, he and his doctor wife, or Tita Sok to everyone, opened their newly built dream house in Silang to the growing number of cell groups that made up the core of the new church, mostly medical students from DLSU Dasma, who were previously from Victory, Manila and UP Los Baños. Because of its spaciousness and warmth, the Reyes house became the favorite venue not only of cell group meetings but even special events that featured celebrity speakers from Manila churches. However, it was Velos building along Aguinaldo Highway that was the first official church address of Victory, Cavite. Located in the second story of the modest commercial building, that first church quickly drew in the crowd that was boosted by volunteers from various Victory churches such as Taft, Shangri-La, Makati, and Ubelt. Attendance was already averaging 150 per service when the young church moved to Imus in 2001. Better to serve the growing number of students from General Emilio Aguinaldo High School who clamored to have the church closer to their school and homes. Lotus Mall along Nueno Avenue in Imus thus became Victory Cavite's address beginning in September 2001. It was at the third floor beside another church and across the bingo center. Not long after that, in 2003, Doc Demi and Tita Sok would be called to join the Alabang team and would thus hand over the leadership of the church to a young couple who had been preparing to plant church in Bicol, but who, it turned out, were called to Imus. John and Let Naron, both physical therapy graduates from UP Manila, just got married then and were eager to start a family in these parts even as they were thrilled to pastor their first church. That was on February 2, 2003. They were supported by John's brother, Gilbert, and wife, Shirley, who would later lead the church plant back in Dasma. Pastor John and Pastor Gilbert took turns preaching while Noel Bibat, Noel Takalan, and Orly Herrero manned the house and made sure that things were running like clockwork. Pretty soon, a second service was added in the morning, followed by a youth service in the afternoon that featured unlimited praise and worship. But even with 3 services, it soon became obvious that the 400 square meter venue was getting too small for the fast-growing church. It was good news and the next step was no-brainer for pastoral team. It was time to move out. The year was 2006. The new address, Robinson's Place, Imus. In keeping with the trend in other churches, Victory Imus sought a space at Robinson's Place and got a good deal with the Coffeeways. We were able to build office and hold our Sunday services at Cinema One. Thus, we set our sights on building the kids' church. It was completed after only several months. As God continued to faithfully extend the territories of Victory Imus, He also added key leaders and workers in this church. It was 2009 when Pastor Benji Quinones came on board as the executive pastor. It was only a matter of time before Imus Church sent out people to plant churches. First in Dasmariñas in 2006, then Bacoor in 2009, and the latest just this year, Trece Martires and Molino.
Hello, Victory Imus! We're so glad to celebrate the 14th year of Victory Imus, and we're so glad that God will continually use us for the extension of His kingdom, not only here in Imus, but also throughout Cavite and even beyond. We're so glad that God would just be upon us today and that we are going to have this celebration, a joyous one, and indeed that God would be glorified in our midst. And really, we're so glad that you are here today.
Excited po kami to celebrate with you. You know, we're looking forward to many more years of working with each other, being with each other, serving in the ministry together. At excited kami mismo sa mga mangyayari sa pamilya nyo, sa mga komunidad ninyo, how God will use you to be able to change these places. And you know, in the next years, we're going to see greater growth in all areas of our life. And we're looking forward to be able to see things begin to happen mismo sa workplaces ninyo. Hindi lang po yan sa Imus, we're going to go to different places in Cavite, and as they say, we're going to go even beyond that. We're looking forward to be able to see all of God's best being poured upon each one of your lives and families. thank you for partnering with us.